It is Doctor's Corner with me, Dr. Musam Tombeni, and we're back. We got a couch, we got some ladies, and today we're talking about substance use and abuse in young people. The ladies on the couch today are Zara, Tegan, Sia, as well as Sihle. The double S's at the end are the terrible twins, and they got me a little confused, but we're ready to have a good time today and really just break down what substance abuse, but not just abuse, the use as well is, and how important it is to acknowledge the difference between the two.
Snack on the beat.
South Africa. My name is Karabo Mohali. I'm the Executive Deputy Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency. We want to officially welcome you to our segment of Doctor's Corner that is going to be hosted by yours truly, Dr. Musam Tombeni. Dr. Musam Tombeni will be taking us through 3 different topics that we're going to be discussing. Number 1, mental health. Number 2, substance use and abuse. And number 3, what it means to have a healthy and safe sex life. And might I add, that does not include pulling out, so use condoms.
So, what do you understand, taken from substance use? Let's start with use.
Using a substance.
Yeah. It feels like one of those things, right?
Yeah, it's
like a multiple choice, like they try to trick me here. Yeah.
Like something that will basically stimulate you, something that's different from your natural mental state. It could be like coffee, weed, alcohol, anything of the sort.
Is that stuff bad? I mean, is it bad, Zara, to have some coffee? Is it bad to have alcohol, in a social sort of setting?
Well, I would say that it's subjective and strictly depends on the person.
Okay.
Like, if you're using it as an scapegoat, then obviously it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's casual and you're having fun and if you're in a safe place with safe people and you're comfortable and you're drinking, I don't see it as a problem.
So, spaces are an important discussion to have, right? Where different things done in different spaces mean different things. So, for instance, people, you wouldn't go home, go past the bottle store and walk to your parents' house and say, yeah, it's a Friday, I'm drinking tonight, because the space doesn't necessarily allow it. But, for instance, at res or with your friends or visiting other people, whatever it might be, that situation is a little bit different because there, the space allows you to consume. So, we would then interact with our spaces differently. But people then start to abuse substances. So what is substance abuse to you, Sia?
Well, substance abuse to me is when you start overdoing it.
So, okay, give us an example and say, I want to understand, man. I want to understand what overdoing means.
Overdoing, it's like you drink, but you drink to a point where even the body can feel that it's not right.
Okay, so let me put it to you this way. So I don't drink, right? I've never had alcohol. So because I don't drink, I don't know what my limits are. I don't know what too much is. So, I see TV ads, they advertise cases of beer. So I'm assuming case from Tombeni to buy a case and go drink by myself. But is that excessive drinking? Is that the abuse of alcohol? Or is me just having 2 shots a day when I come back from class or from work just to, settle me for the day? So where do we draw the line with respect to abuse and use?
Abuse is when you do it every day on a daily. It's like a thing, it's part of your, I don't know if I can say schedule, but it's part of your...
We are planela.
Yes, it's like you have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't do it, you feel that something is not right.
That's functionality.
Yeah, that's when you know you're abusing it.
So we've all had experiences with alcohol with respect to either ourselves personally or our friends, right? Where you go out to a party and someone may drink ciders. This is what they normally drink when they're drinking and they're out. But today, this place said ciders, we're not doing that. Today we've got just hard liquor, we've got cognac, I'm a VSO, that vibe. And now you say, cool, let me consume that. And you find yourself in a situation where you've overindulged and you're now drunk. What are some of the biggest problems that young people deal with, Sihle, with respect to mabe puzeka, when it's just a bit much now?
I think when you're too drunk, others end up feeling horny and stuff, and then you end up indulging yourself in a situation that you want.
So it increases high risk behavior.
Exactly. Okay. That's why I think people who are in substance use, they should just have a limit.
So it's interesting that you bring that up, in that people that are using substances should have a limit because it has consequences. What are some of the big problems with drinking or with doing drugs in some shape, way, or form, right? So we're not talking about just use at this point in time, we're talking about abuse. What are some of the big problems?
So we have to take into consideration that there's use, there's misuse, there's abuse, and there's dependence.
Okay.
So someone that is drinking every single day could be a well person drinking every single day, whereas someone that's casually drinking on a Friday is not well and they using alcohol as an escape. So it's different. Do you see the difference?
Totally see, yeah.
So I would say one of the things that we struggle with using, I don't like addiction or abusing, but it very much is a thing to abuse substances. I think that one of the things we suffer with is when you're under the influence, it's kind of like you become impulsive. You do things you wouldn't normally do. It basically puts you out of character and all these behavioral issues arise. And that's why with a substance using disorder, it's a behavioral problem.
Yeah.
It's a scapegoat that we turn to because we can't deal with our reality.
Okay.
So if you're traumatized and life is beating you down and you're doing all these things, of course you're gonna form a relationship with something that's gonna bring relief to you, even if it's temporary. So
it's an interesting viewpoint to have, in that, you know, a lot of people will use it as I get like scapegoat, but I think a lot of people will use it as a companion. The bond I am now forming with my alcohol, that doesn't ask me questions, doesn't ask me how my day was or what skolot was bouncing at the end of the month. All it wants is to make me happy. And guess what? It does. Because when I'm drinking my thing, I'm sharp and I won't bother anyone. But Tegan, this issue is more problematic in young people because dependencies are then formed, where if you don't have the right mechanisms to deal with conflict, to deal with a bad day at work, to deal with just life's every day, that you may then start to form this relationship with substances, and now you're dependent on these substances. What makes young people, in your opinion, susceptible to the abuse of alcohol, the abuse of drugs, the abuse of other narcotics?
I think a little bit of an absence of self-awareness.
Okay.
For what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and what emotions you're feeling and how they're impacting certain parts of your life and your relationships and so forth. And also just accountability for your emotions and your life the way it is. Because like sometimes if like things are a bit difficult and you don't necessarily know how to handle it, and you find the substance that brings some sort of temporary relief that kind of feels like it's solving that problem, then you kind of go back to it again and again. And yeah, that's basically what I think about that.
So going back to something again and again because of this benefit that you thrive as well as receive from the product is an important one. And I think that's what, you know, throws towards a lot of young people, you know, taking that escape. Say, well, there's some stuff, but we have a big issue of binge drinking in South Africa, especially amongst young people, where no, I don't drink every day, you know? That's a problem. You're addicted if you drink every day. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, what do they do on Tuesday? Whatever it is on Tuesday, you know what I mean? Where this binging happens and young people just find themselves just going in extra hard on a weekend because, whew, what a long week. Is this sustainable?
I think at some point other people drink because they want to say something.
Okay.
You know, some other people don't know how to. You'll be like, Usihlwa Hambekaya, Usihle Smazi is always calm and stuff. But now, because there are things, sometimes we keep quiet because we don't want to. Sometimes we just don't know how to speak out. So they were using substance, you know, to be able to express themselves, you know. So sometimes it's just like that. You just drink because you want to say something, and we do it.
Or you want to be like
Yeah,
your
you
true
want to
self.
be
Your
like
true
your
self.
Because like
self.
sometimes you have
Yeah.
anxieties that hold you back from saying things when you're sober. But then when you drink or you do substances, you find that those barriers kind of disintegrate and you just flow.
Is
you
that
know?
something we should allow? I mean, I use allow in inverted commas.
I don't think we should encourage it.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
some point, I think we should. I mean, like other people.
Whoa,
don't
whoa,
have
what
voice.
is it? Whoa.
No, I
need to
mean,
hear you, huh?
I mean, like maybe just that one day, just give a guy a chance to speak at least. You'll be like, okay, today we're gonna be drinking, just so that you can see when something is bothering him or her. You know, you'll be like,
Give me an
okay.
example. I really want to hear the story
You
you're
know,
trying to tell us.
when you have something that's bothering you, that is bothering you.
Okay.
You feel like you can escape the world just one day and be like, I want to talk about it. Maybe alcohol can help you at some point. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're saying it gives you confidence.
Yeah, it can give someone a confidence to be like, I
Yeah,
want
but
to
I mean, I think we can all acknowledge that's not right, right?
Don't you think
You
you're
shouldn't.
enabling the behavior?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not something that we should be sitting there say, guys, listen. If you've got hidden desires and things, keep them to yourself. But if you wanna just drink and then no, that's not something that we should be doing. But let's talk around the idea of peer pressure. I mean, this feels like high school again, right? Where they speak about life orientation and peer pressure coming out. The use of substances has a lot of peer. What's the word I'm looking for? Pushing each other in a sort of direction. So it's not necessarily pressure. We're drinking. Drink. Taken. Like drink. No, it's not like that. It's never that direct. I think things have changed, and as you get older, things transform themselves a little bit. But peer pressure in our friendships and our relationships, is that something that's there? Sia?
Yes, it's something that's definitely there because even if you don't see it, it happens when you observe and start to think about it. Let's say you're going out and then you decide you're not going to drink. But you see everyone is drinking and you just feel like you want to be on their vibe. You're not on
Yeah,
their
like,
vibe.
why
Because the vibe is nice. Right? The vibe is nice. They're
It's
just,
very nice. So
yeah.
you feel like, okay, maybe I can have just a sip. You take the sip and you just feel like, okay, maybe this is not
your
enough
whole
because I'm
bottle.
still not like
Yeah, on that level.
Yeah, exactly. So you just drink. So they did not say anything to you.
Yeah.
You chose to drink, but because
I
of
feel
them, in a way. So yeah.
I get you. Well, look, we've had this discussion with the ladies. It seems like we all agree on one thing, that the abuse of substances is a problem, but we need to understand what and how you get to an abuse. But I think maybe we need to look at a couple of myths or facts to answer these questions. Time for myth or fact, and it's time to find out if the ladies have got their thinking caps on. They're looking stressed, they're giving me grins and looks. I feel like my phone just went missing just thinking about it. Right, myth or fact time. I'm going to give you a simple myth. You need to tell me whether it's a myth or a fact. Right, let's get into it. The first one, overcoming addiction is easy. All right, Zara? Myth, why is it a myth?
This is quite a complex one.
Uncomplicated.
Okay, I think it's because people who are suffering with substance using disorder most of the time are also battling false beliefs,
Okay.
false belief systems, and the constant chase for that. Not being able to accept the reality around you and constantly searching, like I said earlier on, for a relief, for a temporary feel-good. And I think that's what makes it hard to leave a substance or any addiction actually, because of the bond that we have with it. There's the relationships around you are so distorted that this one thing seems like the only thing.
The only consistent thing, the only thing that treats you right and has you right all the time. And of course, that is true, right? It is a myth. It is not easy to overcome addiction. It is very difficult, but it is a journey that can be started and can, have success in it. All right, the next one is, you have to hit rock bottom for you to get up again. So yeah,
I think it's a fact.
it's a fact. How? So yeah, saying we must hit rock bottom. That we yo go see. All right, so that is a myth, right? You don't have to hit rock bottom at all. You don't. If you feel at this point in time or in this journey or the relationship that you have with alcohol is abnormal and is no longer healthy, you can choose at that point to say, I'm stopping now, I'm gonna get help and I'm gonna get better. You don't have to, lose houses, cars, wives, leave, dogs, die. No, it doesn't have to go that far. All right, so the last myth or fact is, if treatment didn't work before, it will never work. Take it.
Myth.
Why?
Because we change as people, we're capable of change.
That's
and your
right.
mindset at a certain point in your life could not necessarily be your mindset later in life. So that doesn't mean that you won't be able to change or be open to that.
So keep going, keep going, keep going. If you're trying to stop and you fail along the way and you go back to drinking, you try it again and you try it again multiple times up until we get that desired effect, and that is you no longer dependent on substances.
What are some of the warning signs to look out for if you think someone might be addicted to substances? Physical evidence of drug and drug use, poor grades at school, a decreased attention to personal appearance, a change in mood, sleeping and eating patterns, a change in friendships or maybe extreme influence by peers. What are some useful telephone numbers that you can use if you think you have a substance abuse problem? Call the substance abuse line on 0800 12 13 14. Send an SMS to 32312. Contact the South African Depression and Anxiety Group on 011 234 4837 or 0800 456 789. Or contact Narcotics Anonymous on 083 900 6962 or visit their website www.na.org.za. Or contact DrugWise on 011 728 6668. There are a number of facilities that you could visit nationwide that will assist you if you have a substance abuse problem.
Well, there we have it. Thank you so much for joining us over the past little while as we discussed substances, drala, debauch, and many other substances that a lot of people really go out and enjoy themselves with. But sometimes that enjoyment becomes dysfunctional and it ends up being dependence and maybe even addiction. We hope that the ladies on the panel really helped you, see a little bit of yourself in them, but also importantly realize that, just because I'm addicted to something right now or I'm overusing a substance means that this is the end. No, that's not the end of that. Of course, it means that you can get help, as we've highlighted to you. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us, and hopefully we'll see each other at like a party or something if they let me in. I don't know. But until next time, we'll see each other.